I'm Akash, trying to make astrology simple for you. Today, I want to talk about one of the most intense, but also most powerful parts of the chart, the 8th house. People hear about it and get scared. This is about stress, illness, endings, destruction. But in my mind, this is the house where life gives me shocks so that I can transform. The 8th house belongs to that serious group of houses that deal with inner pressure, mental stress, health issues, endings, big changes, sometimes sudden events. I like to think of it as the pressure cooker of my horoscope. When the heat goes up, either I burst or I become softer, wiser, and more mature. When I look at my own 8th house, I first think of those moments of mental stress that I don't show anyone. On the outside, I'm calm, but inside my head, it feels like a full on drama. For example, I'm sitting in a clinic, waiting for a medical report for a family member. My hand is holding the file, but my mind is somewhere else. What if the report is bad? What if treatment is very costly? How will I manage office, home, hospital together? Nobody outside can see this storm. But inside, that is pure 8th house energy. Another day, I'm checking my bank app. I see the EMI date, school fees, parents' medicines, electricity bill, and salary has not yet come. On top of that, in office there is a rumor about cost cutting. I am traveling in a crowded local train or metro. But my mind is running. What if I lose my job? How will I handle the home loan? How will I tell my family? That deep knot in the stomach, that fear of what if my security breaks? That's the 8th house talking to me. Health wise, the 8th house is not about a small cold. It's more like that one warning bell life rings for me. Maybe I go for a routine checkup and the doctor suddenly says, your BP is high, your sugar is borderline. If you don't change now, you can have serious issues later. I come back home holding the report, staring at the tea and biscuit in my hand, and I tell myself, okay, from tomorrow, morning walk, less fried food, better sleep. No more ignoring my body. That one scary moment that forces me to change my lifestyle, that's the 8th house at work, pushing me towards transformation through fear. Then there are endings. In real life, this can be the day my company shuts down my department. I clear my desk, put my mug and photo frame in a small carton, and walk out of the office gate for the last time. Or it's when a relationship I thought would last forever suddenly breaks. Phone calls stop, messages stop, wedding plans stop. Or it's when our joint family splits and I move from a busy, noisy house full of people to a small flat where I can hear the fridge humming because it's so quiet. In those moments, it really feels like this is the end of the world. That heavy finality, that nothing will ever be the same again, feeling that is also the 8th house. But the 8th house doesn't stop there. It always has a hidden second part. Okay, this ended. Now what do you become after this? Maybe I lose my job, and after some months of panic and CV sending, I start a small side business from home. I learn skills I never thought I would. I work harder. And slowly I realize I would never have tried this if my job hadn't ended. Maybe a painful breakup forces me to learn self-worth, to set boundaries, to stop begging for attention. After a long time, I look back and think that ending broke me, but it also rebuilt me into someone stronger. This entire journey of breakdown and rebuild is written in the language of the 8th house. The 8th house also shows those sudden twists that every Indian family knows too well. One call from the village, there's a dispute about ancestral property, you must come. Suddenly, I'm in the middle of emotional drama, legal papers, elders taking sides, old grudges coming out. Or I'm driving home and there's a minor accident, nothing life-threatening, but enough to create a big, unexpected expense. Or one morning, I wake up to news of a sudden promotion for my spouse, or an insurance amount coming through, or some surprise money I wasn't counting on. These sudden ups and downs of both shocks and surprise gains also carry the signature of the 8th house. For me, when I study my 8th house, I'm really asking myself a few very human questions. When life shakes my foundation, Do I completely fall apart, or do I gradually find a way to stand again? When my health scares me, do I keep ignoring it, or do I finally respect my body? When money becomes tight, do I only panic, or do I also learn how to live simpler, save better, and plan ahead? When a relationship ends, do I only see myself as a victim, or do I also see what patterns I need to change? In a typical Indian day, all of this shows up in small ways. I'm in the kitchen making chai. My mother mentions her knees are hurting again. And suddenly I realize my parents are aging and I have to be emotionally and financially ready. I'm stuck in traffic, late for a meeting, and I ask myself, if my office shuts tomorrow, who am I without my job title? I'm folding clothes and I find an old kurta that reminds me of a person who is no longer in my life, and I feel that mix of pain and gratitude together. These quiet inner moments where I feel fear, loss, and at the same time a strange inner awakening, they all belong to the eighth house. So when I think of the eighth house now, I don't only think of stress, illness, and destruction. I think of it as the part of my chart that shows how I handle life when the mask of comfort is removed. It tells me how deep my fears can go, but also how deep my strength can go. It is the house that says, yes, I will scare you. But if you stay with the process, I will also transform you. If you want to see what your eighth house says about your stress, your turning points, and your power to transform, visit astrologe.com for instant astrology.